Hi everyone, sorry I couldn't be there today. Before you go into the back of the room and start going through the carousel, I'd like to just go through one more time how to form an ionic bond. So when you get to the back of the room, you're going to be presented with two elements. And the first thing that you need to do is look at the two elements and figure out which one's the metal and which one's the nonmetal. So if we look at our two examples right here, we have sodium and fluorine. So I know that looking at sodium is going to be my metal, and fluorine is going to be my nonmetal. Once I know that, I can figure out basically which is going to give the electrons and which is going to receive the electrons. The next thing to do after I've figured out which one's the metal and which one's the nonmetal is that I'm going to do the Lewis dot diagram. So for sodium, I know the symbol is Na and that it has one dot. And for fluorine, I know the symbol is F and it has 7 dots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in no particular order. The next thing I need to do is basically show the transfer, that the metal is going to be giving up the electrons and the nonmetal is going to be accepting the electrons. So I have sodium with its 1 valence electron and fluorine with its 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can say that this sodium atom is going to give up its 1 electron and give it to fluorine right there, so it becomes an ion. So when I draw out the bond here, and really when you take your quiz tomorrow, what I'm going to be looking for is not the transfer part. That's just showing where the electron's from and where is it going. I'm going to be looking for the metal with a positive charge, and this one's +1 because it lost 1 electron. And then the nonmetal, in this case it is fluorine, with its 7 original electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus the electron that it gained from the sodium. So I'm going to make it different. You don't have to make it different, but I'm going to make it different to say, hello, look, I'm from sodium. And then have the brackets around it and an overall charge of -1. This is the ionic bond. This is the positive-negative force of attraction that occurs between these two ions that we've now formed. Let's do one more before you go to the back of the room. Just one more example, just to make sure that you've got everything right. We have strontium and chlorine. Figure out which one's the metal, which one's the nonmetal. Strontium is a group 2 metal, so it is a metal. And chlorine we know is in group 17, the halogens, so it is my nonmetal. So I can figure out, again, which one's going to be donating the electrons, which one's going to be accepting them. The symbol for strontium is Sr. Sr with 2 dots, 1, 2, and chlorine is Cl with 7 dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then again, I want to show the transfer. So I have strontium with its 2 dots, and then I have a chlorine with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But right away I can see my problem here. The strontium has to give up both of its valence electrons. It really doesn't have an option. It just can't say, well, today I just feel like giving up 1. No, can't do that. So chlorine can only accept 1 electron, so I've got to bring in another chlorine. So I'm going to do one right underneath. So Cl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when I do this, the strontium is going to give up this electron and give it to this chlorine atom, now making it an ion, and it's going to give up this electron, and it's going to donate it to this chlorine atom down here, making it an ion, and that's how my electrons are going to transfer. So when I draw out this bond, I have 1 strontium ion now because it gave up its 2 valence electrons. So it's going to be Sr plus 2. And then I have 2 chlorine ions. So I can express it one of 2 ways. I can do the chlorine with the 8 electrons in the brackets and a -1. I can do that twice. Or I can make it a lot simpler and just put a big coefficient of 2 in front, a bracket, Cl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's the 8th one from the strontium, and there's 2 of them here. There's going to be 2 chlorine ions. That -1, and that in a nutshell represents the ionic bond that's occurring between the strontium ion and the 2 chlorine ions. So that's the review that I wanted to go over today before you head to the back of the room. Be kind, be nice to each other, get your work done, make sure you're doing the stations in the back of the room, which will definitely be on your quiz, and also make sure that you take time to do the multiple choice and get your answers checked before you leave class today. Have a good day.